up the Sacramento Kings and blow it out in the fourth quarter. I'll stop. I promise. This is POSTCAST. On a night that was a little stinky, awfully smelly, pretty gross for a little bit there, and unusual, the Utah Jazz have hammered the Sacramento Kings for their third straight and made the Kings fan leave the building nauseous. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm David Locke along with Ron Boone. This is POSTCAST as the Jazz win their third game in 30 days or so against Sacramento Kings in very similar fashion. I mean, this game was Jazz had a 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Last time they played them, they had a 1-point lead. The time before, they had a 3-point deficit. And then they blew them out in the fourth quarter, Ron.
Yeah, outscoring them about 39-25 in that fourth quarter, and largely because the Jazz just got hot, making 16 for 23 from the field, 3 for 8 from the 3-point line, and just took care of business.
So this was an interesting game because Sacramento got blown out last night. This building was booing. I thought they were pretty resilient tonight. They kept coming. They kept attacking. They kept playing at the Jazz. The Jazz could push it to 9, and you were wondering if Sacramento got punched. And even Luke Walton had kind of said before the game, our problem is that when we're getting punched right now, we're not fighting back very well. He credited to them trying too hard, which is nice. Tonight they did fight back pretty well until the Jazz just finally hit them. Just had too many things at them and finally knocked them out in the fourth quarter.
So I think if you're a Kings coach or anything like that, obviously you're very disappointed losing the basketball game, but you also have to be a little encouraged at how hard they played early. Rudy Gobert touched on that they played very, very hard. And then the tactic, the different way they played the Jazz. I mean, they ended up shooting, 31 3-point shots, but 10 of those came in the fourth quarter. So their attack was a little bit different than what the Jazz have seen. And so you had to be a little encouraged, but, this franchise is they're struggling.
The Kings came straight downhill at the Jazz. I posted a shot chart at one point of the game that literally the Kings had absolutely nothing on the wings. They were just coming straight at the Jazz, playing this pick and roll game, forcing Rudy to back up, attacking him in a way that we don't see many teams do. I thought that was really interesting, and frankly, it was successful for a while.
Well, I thought that you're absolutely right. It was successful strictly because of Holmes and the way Holmes was getting the job done in the middle and the way they used him. He had a very good night. He ended up with 22 points and with 12 of those coming in the first half. But the way they used him, not attacking and challenging Rudy, but more so from the 8-foot range, that little push shot that he likes to shoot. And it was successful. You had other guys getting into the paint, just shooting those little runners and, shots like that were high percentage shots and not relying on the three-pointer.
From the Jazz standpoint, what did they do to break the game open? It was they shot 16 of 23 in the fourth quarter, I think it was. So it kind of got to be a joke there at the end. But they opened up the fourth quarter, and it was it's that lineup, by the way, that used to kill people. It was the Mike Conley. It's now with Rudy Gay on the floor, and it was that lineup that opened up the fourth quarter. Jordan Clarkson hitting some shots. They hit a few transition threes. I think they had 4 again tonight. What was the difference in that opening stanza of the fourth quarter?
They made some big shots. I mean, it's some Clarkson coming down and shooting a three-pointer, free throw line extended above the break. Rudy Gay shooting a 3-point shot, walked into a 3-point shot. They hit some big shots, but they were just meandering along there for quite some time, and then all of a sudden it just exploded, pushing the ball ahead of the defense, starting to get some early type threes. Jazz only had 8 3-point shot attempts there in the fourth quarter, but they just exploded. And then the Kings, you get to the point where they just kind of gave up.
A lot of good plus minuses on the Jazz bench. 17 minutes for Rudy Gay, plus 11. Son Whiteside, 18 minutes, plus 14. Jordan Clarkson, 24 minutes, plus 20. Joe Ingles, 23 minutes, plus 15. The depth of the Jazz, just the superior factor in tonight's game in so many ways. De'Aaron Fox started miserably. He finished 5 of 17, which wasn't a great deal better. Jazz shoot 17 of 39 from 3, back to 44%. They're walking themselves back up toward the top 10 like you'd expect. Here's what's getting really interesting, Rob. From a big picture standpoint of the Jazz, their offense is number 1 in the NBA right now. It's 1.9 points per 100 possessions better than anyone else in the league. That's a lot. And they just added to it tonight. There is a minor chance that this offense is better than it was, maybe more than a minor chance. There's a chance this offense is better than it was a year ago and is actually like possibly dominating.
But don't you find it strange though that we were looking at this offense as though they're struggling a little bit, mainly because maybe it's because they weren't knocking down threes. They were struggling from the 3-point. Where the Jazz were as low as 31% from the 3-point line here early, but they're climbing back into it now. They're getting to the point where they're up around 34%. And if they ever get to the point where they're making their traditional 39%, 37% as a team, look out.
Woo!
You know, that's but it's the offense that struggled at the beginning of the year, and they were still winning basketball games.
All right, let's have some fun. They said leave it all out there on the court. They meant the players. Yeah, that was funny. I should have used that. I hadn't done puke prep. I wasn't
one?
puke prep.
Oh,
I wasn't prepared for all of those kind of things tonight. Bill Hendricks says the puke picture on Twitter with a guy just sitting in it is something else. Yeah, that was the part of the night that was just like he just sat there. He just poor guy. Hopefully, seems to have been inebriated, but maybe it was something else. Who knows? But anyway, somebody wants to know why we argue calls so often. We actually are trying to reduce the amount of times that they're arguing calls. It's been better the last few nights. They've seemed to have been less distracted in many ways.
Yeah, there was a piece in practice a few days ago where that was brought to the attention of players.
Yes.
About that very thing.
Once again, Joe Ingles has a good night tonight, and we'll begin to keep an eye on it. It does feel as though Rudy Gay's presence is having an impact on Joe Ingles. And I will say Rudy Gay is making a lot of plays, whether it's a rebound in traffic, whether it's an outlet pass. Maybe the most beautiful play of the night was started with Allen. He had 6 rebounds in 17 minutes tonight. He only had 3 points, but his presence on the floor is real.
Yeah, he's going to really make a big difference, especially help rebounding out. It's been Royce O'Neal that's giving Rudy a lot of support, rebounding the basketball, but Rudy Gay will do those things. Boyan's not a great rebounder, neither is Joe Ingles. And so Rudy Gay in 18 minutes. What did you say? He played 17 minutes tonight?
Yep.
And 6 rebounds. Is that right?
6 rebounds, 17 minutes.
So, I mean, those are great numbers, for the amount of time he's out there on the floor. So I expect to see that for the rest of the year.
Jazz beat the Kings third time in less than 30 days. Not easy to do. They're 11-5 on the year. They have the number 1 offense in the league. The defense was okay tonight. Didn't need to be because the offense was so good. It'll be interesting to see. Memphis on Monday. Tickets are available. If you have not seen John Morant in person, please come to that one. We'll head to Oklahoma City on Wednesday. We do not play another 500 team for a long time. So if the Jazz can click in, they could win a lot of games in a row. Have a wonderful night. I'm thinking of something cute and funny to say. I'll pass. See ya.